Hello, viewers. If you are here for the very first time, welcome. And if you are here again, welcome back. My name is Rogue Black, and here is where I make videos calling out the truth in our political world. Let's move on. Had you told me a day would come when President Donald Trump and his once advocate, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, would beef, I wouldn't have believed you. For several years, the Congresswoman campaigned for Trump, and to have their relationship dissolve in the public eye, I mean, come on, that's like Bellatrix going against Lord Voldemort. But I digress. Here's a breakdown on Trump and Marjorie Greene's falling out. Remember when running for the presidency of the United States again, Donald Trump made a campaign that he would release the Jeffrey Epstein files.
I did say, I must tell you, I said that probably wish I did release the whole thing because I have no idea what's in there.
Well, after he got elected again, even though he had the authority to release the Epstein files without the approval of Congress, he refused to do. This prompted a petition to release the Jeffrey Epstein files in the U.S. House of Representatives, started by Republican Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky, together with Democratic Representative Ro Khanna of California. They filed a discharge petition in September 2025 to force a vote on legislation that would require the Justice Department to release all unclassified documents and records related to Epstein. It had bipartisan support, getting Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina, and Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado, along with a large majority of House Democrats. Then Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene publicly rebuked House Speaker Mike Johnson after the House adjourned earlier than expected. Greene and several other Republicans claimed the early end was meant to avoid votes connected to the Jeffrey Epstein files. Greene then appeared at a Capitol Hill press conference alongside survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse and a bipartisan group of lawmakers, including Representatives Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie. She called for the Justice Department to release all Epstein-related files, stressing the issue should transcend politics and focus on justice, transparency, and accountability for survivors. Whoa, who could have saw this coming? Senator Ted Cruz criticized Greene publicly, saying she had become very liberal and suggesting her commentary on the government shutdown and other matters should be disregarded. In a separate exchange, Cruz referred to Greene as crazy after she alleged powerful figures were trying to silence her over the release of certain files. Greene responded forcefully, denying his claims and accusing Cruz of spreading lies. She argued his remarks distracted from serious issues such as standing up for women and girls who were abused, and said those challenging Cruz were real Americans. Around this time, Trump reached out to Marjorie, urging her and the other representatives to pull back on their support of the Epstein survivors, yelling at her that his quote-unquote friends would get hurt. Nonetheless, Greene refused, so the President of the United States publicly attacked her, calling her a traitor.
As the president has done to previous political opponents, the name calling that he's used with other opponents, he's using with Marjorie Taylor Greene. In fact, a post from social media, he said, or he called her wacky Marjorie Traitor Brown, and in parentheses, remember Greene turns brown when there's rot involved. Not afraid to go to the name calling for her.
Greene escalated her criticism, stating she never owed former President Donald Trump anything despite years of loyalty. She noted she forced a full House vote on releasing the Epstein files, an effort Trump initially opposed before later reversing his position. Greene also turned Trump's traitor label back on him, saying her loyalty was unpaid and his attacks were unjust, while accusing him of revealing more about his own character than hers. Trump hit back and tweeted about Greene, denouncing her. The tweet read, "I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of the great state of Georgia. Over the past few weeks, despite my creating record achievements for our country, including a total and complete victory on the shutdown, closed borders, low taxes, no men and women's sports or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, biggest regulation cuts in history, stopping 8 wars, rebuilding our military, being respected by every country in the world, as opposed to being the laughingstock that we were just 12 months ago, having trillions of dollars, record-setting, invested in the USA, and having created the hottest country anywhere in the world from being a dead country just 12 months ago, and so much more. All I see wacky Marjorie do is complain, complain, complain. It seemed to all begin when I sent her a poll stating that she should not run for senator or governor. She was at 12% and didn't have a chance, unless, of course, she had my endorsement, which she wasn't about to get. She has told many people that she is upset that I don't return her phone calls anymore, but with 219 congressmen less women, 53 U.S. senators, 24 cabinet members, almost 200 countries, and an otherwise normal life to lead, I can't take a ranting lunatic's call every day. I understand that wonderful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia, that they too are fed up with her and her antics, and if the right person runs, they will have my complete and unyielding support. She has gone far left, even doing The View, with their low IQ Republican-hating anchors. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. Then on Friday, November 21st, 2025, Marjorie posted a video on social media announcing her resignation. She says, "Hi everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more, and the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher. Corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts. American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interests. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID, tyrannical insanity, and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster, but instead America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas, just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media, obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa-holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hard-working people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left, politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID. And I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs, replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the claims of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests, because our job title is literally representative. America First should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America First in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked, and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy. My life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God who created everything in existence. You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits, and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide-open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of non-stop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander, and lies about me that most people could never withstand, even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election, while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America. When asked about Marjorie, Trump responded,
"Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her."
In a 60-minute interview on CBS, Greene said that after Trump publicly called her a traitor, she received a pipe bomb threat at her home and death threats against her son, which she said were directly fueled by Trump's rhetoric. She said she informed Trump and others about the threats, describing Trump's response as extremely unkind. After CBS aired Greene's interview, President Trump lashed out on social media, attacking both the program and her remarks. He described her views as those of a very dumb person and mocked her preparation and performance on the show. Any hope of reconciliation? Recently, the former Congresswoman appeared on The View on January 7th, 2026. When asked about coming back to work for Trump,
One more thing. If he begs you to come back, will you go back?
Who? My ex-husband? No,
Trump.
I'm just kidding.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Absolutely not. The way he treated me, no.
Because, you know, he loves when you're on your knees begging him to come back.
He'll never have me begging.
and there you have, guys, the door is closed. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.